So here's my bike. I'm not showing the actual install. I'm just just going to show you guys how it ended up being installed. So first off, let's just go over here. A few things I'm going to have to get before I take this out and show you the end of this video. Number one, there it is, all installed here. Install is actually pretty good. Just realize if you have a bike like mine, which doesn't have a lot of necessarily handlebar space because there's so much of it down here, that can be a bit of an issue, right? Trying to find a spot for it. A lot of cables coming out. I kind of wish that I had a spot like down here because then you could kind of tuck all that away better, but there's not a lot you can do about it, unless of course if you didn't want to really utilize the screen, you could take this of course and like put it like underneath your seat or something like that, which would be an okay option. Right now I just have the little controller down here, which isn't great. I'm gonna have to find a place to move that because right now of course I can't see the buttons, but I can see the screen, so I really didn't figure why I needed both. Camera wise, you guys can see, right? Down here I have one. Now, this is there. Maybe you guys can see it. See how I have zip ties attaching it? Because the big reason for me was that it has like 3M sticky, which is great, but because that's a little bar that it's on, it's not really attaching itself great with just the sticky. Now it also comes with two little screws, but again, where I'm sticking it, which is metal, those screws weren't actually going to go through there. If you're mounting it to just like like a plastic piece, fine. But the other thing is I really didn't want to be screwing holes or putting holes into my bike where I didn't need to. So zip ties is good. And if I decide that's not where I want to put it, then I can, of course, just unclip the zip ties and we're good to go. The other thing is the cameras themselves are rotatable. And you will see on the top of the camera, where am I here? Right there. I make sure I'm showing you the camera. Top of the camera, there's a little tiny white dot. That shows you like up, right? So when you put it in, you can spin it. So you have a little guide on the rear of the bike. Same thing, I put it on here and it's on with zip ties, right? The other thing too, like even if you are just using the sticky, zip ties just keeps it held there so the 3M has a better chance of actually sticking. But you know, if one of these fails, I still got a second one. So, and I didn't have to drill anything. And then of course my cable is just running up under there, which is zip tied again. Oh, I gotta clip that one. I've got that one. And run it. It's just running under the seat, and then it runs all back through there, and everything else is kind of a mess in there. But it comes with two different battery options, which is kind of nice. So you can plug it straight into the battery. For me, I wasn't sure if I was going to keep it on here or not. I think I will. But it also has the ability, you can see right here, with a smaller cable. Again, I got to do some more cable management, so don't be like, oh, you got a cable manage. I know, I'll get there. But there's a little tiny one that allows you to plug, and this is it right here, right? It allows you to plug just into a USB. So you can power it off of just like a USB adapter if you want. So I may just keep it there because I have just a power switch. It really is up to you if you want to have something that just permanently turns on and off with your bike, or if you want to be able to manually do it. I kind of want to be able to manually do it, sort of. So I may keep it like that. What I'm going to do now is, like I said, the actual issue right now with the unit right now that I'm having, this unit right here, is that everything is in Japanese as far as I can tell. And so I have no idea what any of the menu says. I did get an English manual. Not that I needed it. I did actually all of the install without the manual. So install is easy. It's just really a matter of figuring out where you want to run all your cables and stuff like that. That's the pain part. It probably took me just over an hour and change to do it all. Again, it would have been faster if it was easier to run cables, but it wasn't. And then I would say The last thing that I have to do now is reach out to them again to just be like, so where in the menu can I change that to English? So I may actually try to use my phone to take like screenshots of the menu and see if I can get it translated. If not, I'll have to wait, but you guys won't have to. Part 2 of this video is coming up right now. I'm gonna take this out for a ride, let it record, and then we'll see what the footage looks like, because that's kind of what's important, right? All right, stay tuned. Okay, well, I'm gonna try not to shake too much. This is the setup, but originally it does come in Chinese or Japanese. So because that probably Chinese actually. So because of that, I'm going to turn the Wi-Fi off here. That should disable the Wi-Fi. Yeah. Okay, good. And when we go into the settings, you'll see I actually have, well, I'll turn it off again. Stop recording. There we go. We have it set in English. Now, I want you guys to really get a look at this, because you'll need to know where to go to switch this to English from Japanese. So you have resolution. These ones you want to change, right? So this one kind of here, you got your go into menu, come out of menu, up and down. It's kind of okay, back, forward, right? So they're up here. So I have mine set to 2K. File type, if you want MOV, if you want TS, I wanted MP4, so I decided to go that route. Loop recording. With loop recording, you can go in and see how long the duration is. So I wanted mine high, so every 3 minutes. Gravity sensor, audio, of course, if you want to go in, does it record audio? Does it not record audio? I wanted mine to record audio. Do you want a watermark on it? Oops, I exited out. Just realize if you exit out, it starts recording and then you can't get back in here, so you have to turn the recording off. Back into your menu. Watermark, of course, if you click in there, it's going to be date and model, or if you just want date, or if you just want nothing, you have those options. So back out of this. Corner lock file, don't even know what that means. Off-low medium, I'm not sure. Gyro calibration, same kind of thing. This is gyro calibration and is really for, especially if it's going to detect or record if somebody hits your bike. Wi-Fi allows you to see the password and change like the password and stuff like that. This allows you to put it into race mode, so you basically get to decide. It'll kind of time you from 0 to 100 or 0 to 400 meters if you want to do that. It's kind of neat if you're like at the track or something like that, I guess. Back out of here. GPS. Do you want it on or off? I want mine on. Kind of having a dash cam, that's kind of important. Time zone settings, of course, and this is the one, date and time. So it's the first one on page 3. When you is that the one? Maybe not. I can't remember now. Date and time? Nope, that's not it. Set your date and time, set your beeps. There it is, language. So third one down, date and time. You can switch it to English, and then you should be good. Here in North America, this was set to 50 hertz, but of course we should have ours set to 60. Do you want a screensaver to come on? If so, how long? So, you know, it's really up to you. I don't want a screensaver popping up. And then you can reset it to default settings. And then you'll have all kinds of stuff, right? Auto record. This one's speed here. My guess was, yeah, do you want it miles per hour, kilometers per hour? And which is kind of good, because like when we go into the States this year, my speedometer on my bike is only in kilometers, so I could switch this to miles so that I could actually see how fast I'm going. Safe riding display. I think this one here too, if you go into it, yeah, you'll see speed and time. It's up to you what you want. I like speed and time. Switch sound, I think that is for moving this around, like your different beeps and stuff like that. Fatigue driver reminder, off or on. Again, personal preference, I'm going to leave it off. And you can format the card and check your firmware. So you can go in there and see what firmware you're on. I'm guessing somewhere through the app you may be able to actually do a firmware update, but I'd have to look around for it. The other thing too, as of now, just so you guys know, I had to log into this, and if you log into it with your cell phone, and really it's just holding this button down here turns the Wi-Fi on, and the Wi-Fi is like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. That's the password, sorry. Once you're in the Wi-Fi,
then you can actually change all these settings as well. So if you needed to set to English or whatever language, you can. I'm going to just turn this off. And then last but not least, it's not as of now, because I reached out to him, because you'll notice I'm actually filming with my iPhone, but I logged in to this to grab some footage with an Android. And the reason for that is, as of now, at time of filming, they are not compatible with iOS 16. So they did say that they were rushing to remedy that. So hopefully that'll get fixed right away. But as of filming, not, well, at least on my phone, which is an iPhone 13 Pro, it was crashing every time I launched it. So it would launch, and then as soon as you try to connect the camera, which is of course this system, it would crash. So worked fine on my Android, not so good on my iPhone. Hopefully that gets an update soon. All right, let's go in and talk about the footage.
Okay guys, so I have now, as you can see, I have the dash cam installed. We're indoors. I've been riding with it for the past, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 days. The very first day that I went out and took it, and this is something, just, you know what, you can do it by yourself, but it's more handy if you have somebody else. As you can see from some of the footage now, I'll put it up here. First off, this footage is in 1080, so 1920 by 1080. And that's because I was riding with it before I could figure out how to change the menu into English, and I couldn't log into the app because I was trying it on my iPhone. As I said before, it was crashing. But it recorded in 1920, 50 hertz. So I'm hoping that there's not too much flicker or anything, because it is kind of, but it shouldn't really matter too much, because it's not as if the sun puts out a different refresh rate than everything else does. But it was slightly crooked, so when you're installing it, again, you can easily take it out, stand it up, take a look, get off your bike, go re-angle it. Because I have my front camera kind of off to the side and kind of tilted like this a little bit, it was hard to make sure it was straight. So you'll see in the footage that's kind of running right now that the front camera is crooked. The rear camera was fine, because somehow I got that right. I think I got that right. Maybe that's crooked too. Now I can't remember. Anyways, after I actually got logged in to the system, and I got a response from Akeeyo, then I could figure out. And if you also, you know, the biggest thing to use, if you can, to figure that out, is I just have you guys can see it here, I think, the Google Translate app, and I set it to auto detect and to use the camera, so that all I did was have the screen up, and I'd hold my phone up on it, and it would translate it to English on the screen. Then I could go down and figure out, again, I think it's on the third page, it's like the third one down, it's the language. You can set it to English or whatever language that you need it to set to. But settings are good. The one thing I do wish, there's a couple things I wish, not that they're big deals by any means. The one that I really wish is that I could set it to longer than, I think right now it's 1 minute, 2 minute, or 3 minute for loop recording. I'd like to see a 5 minute, and I'd like to see a 10 minute. I'd like to see those added if possible. That's probably my biggest one, actually, is that one. Now, if you look at the camera, or sorry, if you look at the actual controller, like the big controller on the that sets everything, I guess. It's pretty simple, right? It's pretty simple. It's got a set of dials down the side, or set of buttons down the side. They do exactly, if you look at the screen right beside them, it tells you what each of those buttons is going to do, so it works really good. The menu is easy to operate. The power button enters it. The button below it comes out, up and down. Of course, goes up and down in the menu, nice and simple. The little handlebar controller, if you are having just this access, is kind of nice too. There's 2 icons on each of the buttons, so 3 buttons on each of the buttons. There's 2 icons. The icon on the left is a tap. The icon on the right is a hold till it beeps. So, for instance, the Wi-Fi one, if you tap on it, I believe it is the Wi-Fi one, it actually turns the screen on and off. So if you're riding and you just don't want to see it, right, because it's distracting, especially at night, that would be pretty bright, you can just tap that and the screen will go off. If you tap and hold it, it turns the Wi-Fi on. If you tap and hold it, it turns Wi-Fi off, etc., right? The one beside that actually switches from, I believe it's, do you want the rear camera primary with a little front camera, or do you want them switched around? And then if you hold it, it enables the microphone or disables the microphone, etc., right? But nice and easy. But the quality of the footage actually really good. So you'll see again, like the crooked footage was shot during the daytime. The quality is really good. It was nice and bright out, right? And that's when you're going to get, or your expectation is going to be, you're going to get the best footage. And it actually did really good. It's 2K, right? So a little bit higher than like 1920, but it's 2K, so it's good. I can't ask for much better. It's not too jittery, especially being the fact that it's on the outside and the front of a motorcycle, so you expect it to be a little bumpy, but not too bad. And the front and rear cameras, as far as I can tell, they're the exact same cameras, so the quality that you're going to get is good. Just make sure that they're on nice and tight, right? So they shouldn't have much vibration. Then I went out. It was a little closer. It was getting closer to dusky area, right? So the sun was kind of coming down, so it was a little gloom, a little overcast. It was a little bit, not dark, but a little darker. My camera was straight, a little more level, which was good. And again, I was like, super good, right? Super good. Now, the app itself, just to let you know, does it transfer files fast? Just realize they're fairly big files, right? If it's a full file, like a 3-minute file, they can be 200 megs in size per camera, right? So front and rear. So if you're downloading that with Wi-Fi, you know what? You're just gonna have to sit there by your bike and let it download. If you want to take it out of the unit, which is where the card is, you have to unscrew it because it does have a weather seal, right? So it's sealed in there so that nobody can just kind of pop in if you got in an accident and take the card out. They'd have to have a screwdriver to get access to it or access to the actual app, right? So just realize it's probably going to be way faster pulling it off the SD card, but doable with the app. Yeah, 100% for sure. That's how I was actually accessing all the footage, just via the app, and I was pleased with it. So I think, in my opinion right now, it's a great unit, right? It's a great unit. If you're looking for 4K, of course, you're not getting it. You're getting 2K. But it's 2K front and rear, which is good. And if you guys have any questions on it, let me know. I'll try to answer it as best as I can. I'm gonna keep it on the bike. The only thing I have to do now, because it is a lot of cable, right? There's a lot of cable going all over the place, especially coming out of the handlebars or out of the main unit. That's where all the cables come out. So I got to figure out a nice way to cable manage it. I don't think I'm going to necessarily do that this year, because sometime over the winter, I'm hoping to replace possibly my handlebars with a bit different ones. And so I'd have to re-cable manage anyway, so I'll probably just wait till the spring to do that. Right now, everything's zip tied and in place. It's fine, and I think it's good. I think it's a good deal. So I will put links down below where you can support. I believe it's a Kickstarter campaign right now, so you should be able to get them at a bit of a better price, and it's a win. I'm pleased with it. I think it's really good. All right, guys, links down below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you guys next video. I'm gonna for a ride with the missus today. Yeah, we're gonna go get some ice cream, because that's why you ride, right? Yeah, that's why you ride. All right, guys, I'm out. Later.